I'm sorry, I can't assist with that.
Two lived separately on their wedding day back in March 2000. Okay, so this was 2008. I know Gary lived 2 doors down from Elizabeth. Okay, that's the mother and father of all these children, allegedly. And then 2025, Siders live in the house across the street from Dollar General. That's now. Years before, they lived in a house on Honeysuckle. And then now we know they're on Omer currently. Okay, so in these last few years, they moved a few times. And we saw this. We went over these. I'm not going to go over the documents. Elizabeth, now comes the defendant, $300,000 bond. That's the July 8th. And this is a motion to expedite an oral hearing. Reasons for granting this motion set forth in the memorandum. I don't know why she's in a hurry to get out. Look at that. That's her? Oh my goodness, guys. This is her with I think the first baby. It doesn't even look like her. And look at her surroundings. She knows better. I don't see feces and things smeared on the anything. Yeah, this is hard. All right, so there it is. That's a good one. Even though I can't see the floor underneath it, I think that E would probably be the room where they were locked up. So all the kids did not go to school. There's no CPS. There's no school. There's no registration, Nina, of any of these children even being registered in this town. There's a birth certificate, but those are from, every time. They just stayed at the hospital. They didn't go anywhere. They didn't transfer to a school. They didn't go take the birth certificate and use it to get benefits. So nobody even knew that these children existed, except the people that knew that they were born. And they didn't think about this years later. All right. They didn't think, well, I wonder where that family is. I wonder if she has more kids. They could have been getting government assistance had they done this properly. I'm Puerto Ricans. My mom said you can be these children's broke a birth certificate. Mom said you can be these children's broke a birth certificate. I didn't understand that, but I understand Puerto Rico. Oh, she got to suffer persistent yeast infection like Siesto soda. Oh shoot. I'm not going to play that. I'll play a clip of it, but that's not what I'm covering today. But if you give me a timestamp, I can show that. All right. So send me a timestamp of where you want. I'm not going to do the whole 20 minutes because we're already in an hour and 40, and I haven't even got to the psychology yet. So I did mention it, though. I did mention that there's an interview from the dollar store lady. There's like a 20-minute video of her talking. She describes controlling of Gary to Liz. All right, let's move on. Anyway, this is really good. Thank you, Cuff You. I appreciate that. There they are. That's a good picture of them. That's them before they are all decrepit. There's Grandpa and Grandma. What happened here, guys? They waived their rights to preliminary hearing. 4 adults, 16 rescued, 64 felonies, 18 months youngest, 2 airlifted, 3 sets of twins, 4 now, 1 died 4 years before discovery. Guys, we need a chart for this. We really do. And look at this. Look at the children there. Look at how many. This is just unheard of. We should put the sex here too. But anyway, the girls, there's a lot more girls than there are boys in this. All right. This is great. There you go. Grandpa Paw. All right. Look at that. He turned from that to that. That guy is creepy and scary AF. Nina, look at that. Look at this guy. That's what he looks like. I don't know how he could walk around like that. All right. They are outraged at being called feral, but then you look at the images and you see what happened. How could you not? The grandpa has a lot going on. That's what I got to say. He's looking both ways. He doesn't know which way he's going at this point. All right, again, I haven't even got to the psychology of it or any of that. So let me stop this. I'm going to put this up to start answering some of those. I really want to answer some of the questions with the psychology part. But before I do that, let's just take a quick look. This is the original filing for Elizabeth and the complaint. Now, this was a complaint that was brought to the prosecutors. So when a complaint is brought, they have to be indicted by a grand jury. There's two different processes. Had they found this out previous with the him doing indecent exposure, then they would have got a grand jury to indict them, and they'd be sitting behind an indictment. But all they did was get a complaint based on the warrant and what they saw, and that complaint is now going to be brought to the grand jury because they skipped their pre-trial hearing. They said, no, we don't want that. Let's just go straight to it. All right. So that's what they want to do. And these charges are endangering a child, F2, count 2, endangering a child. There's a lot of, they have 64 counts in total. Right, again, we're not going to go over that. There's a lot of endangerment charges that will last her, and she'll be in prison the rest of her life, especially if the younger or the two children that were airlifted don't come through. Okay. I mean, so this is just pages and pages and pages. Look at that. 7 pages. And this is just a complaint. This is not an indictment. It's talking about violating and furthermore resulting in serious physical harm. All right. Now let's talk about the trauma. Is she a victim, and when did that turn from a victim to abuser? All right, Nina Drew, the house looked like feral cats lived there. How do the teens have social media? Exactly. Well, that's what we're going to find out, because there's a lot more to this story, obviously. All right, let me take a look. Are you getting a timestamp for me, Synth, or do you want me to look? Thank you so much for the $4.99. Yeah, did you see those pictures? Those pictures show you what they're working with. All right, what they were doing, how they were living. This is great right here. This is the only person that I've seen like come straight out the gate and ask this. Trauma bonding, coercive control, and Ohio Siders case, a clinical breakdown. She comes right out of the gate. You guys go sub up to Denise Brady, licensed therapist on YouTube. It's in the description if you need it. I could drop the link as well. Check it out.
A lot of people are asking, is she a victim? Is she an abuser? Can she be both? Now, as a therapist, there's a lot of things I want to discuss. We've heard this term Stockholm syndrome, which is relatively outdated. What happens when you have coercive control, trauma bonding, complex PTSD? Because this isn't one singular abusive event. It's over 18 years of multiple events, patterns of abuse. So I want to go deeper into helping people
Let's going to just kind of understand where she fell into this, right? Nina Drew, the kids didn't go to school, and that's why law enforcement is saying they couldn't read or write. It's 18 years of this, Nina Drew. This is just, it's like multiple generations going on. Okay, thank you, Flo Joe. I sent you a short clip of the warrant and the initial. Ooh, that should be a good one. I have the warrant, but I didn't see the initial police visit. All right, let's get into this so we can have some time.
Understand the different layers of trauma bonding with your abuser. Some of you guys are trauma bonding with your parents.
And guys, if you don't agree with this, please disagree in chat respectfully. Okay, I just want to show you some of the things, and we're going to show you the interview out. We're going to show you all perspectives. You decide.
Parents who are your abusers. And I think it's hard to talk about. It's hard to say, but come on in. Let's talk about, let's do a deep dive on Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you.
The abuse, all of it. And some of you guys, I think you have been through similar.
All right, let's go forward. Ooh, that sounds terrible.
A victim when she's also an abuser. Now, if these allegations.
Now, remember, her lawyer made a bold statement, guys. The bold statement was Elizabeth does not see herself as a victim. So if she doesn't see herself as a victim, then she's got to be on the side of being an abuser. Okay. And yes, maybe she needs lots of therapy, lots of mental health. That I say she should do that. That should be mandatory. All right. But let's listen to at least how this affects trauma bonding. Maybe she doesn't even know that she needed to get help. Maybe she's going to thank the prosecutor later and say, oh man, I didn't even know. I was in this house from 13 to 15. They kept me with Gary and I just started having kids. I didn't know any better. Right. We don't know.
Hold up which I'm not sure if they really will.
Thank
When
you.
it comes to her, I think people don't understand how deep control, manipulation, 18 years at 13. And
Yep.
I've also seen the comments of, well, she wanted to get married. She
Yep.
forced her parents to sign those papers. Do y'all think about the things y'all say before you comment them? Does that
No.
logically make sense? A 13-year-old marrying
Nope.
a man